Okay, after this morning, I'm obviously going to have to make this a part two to Nerang Police. So I thought that maybe they might see reason instead of trying reprisals. So anyway, last night I worked till early hours of the morning, driving as I usually do. I ended up getting to sleep maybe 5:30 it was this morning, and then at around 7:10 this morning, this is Saturday the 2nd of the 10th 21, someone starts banging really hard on my bedroom window. And I'm thinking, who's this? And I started to creep around because of the way they were banging. It was very, very aggressive on my windows and door. And it reminded me of police. So I don't trust Nerang Police at all, with very good reason. I can't give you all the particulars, but I've given a lot of them. And anyway, I start to put my head around the corner in the hallway, and there's Senior Constable Jenkins, I don't know his first name, Pommy dude, peeking through my window, and he's seen me straight away. He was waiting for me to come around the corner. So he starts yelling out my name, and I start getting my phone. I thought I'd recorded, but for some reason it didn't record when I hit the button. Then as I was just after I opened the door, I realised that it hadn't started recording, so I started recording then. Midway through, Constable Tara Ferguson of Nerang, they're both from Nerang Station, starting a spiel about making out as if she's doing the correct interview procedures and stuff like that. I explained straight away, I've had not even 2 hours sleep. They're not supposed to interview in those conditions. She had called me previously and asked me if she could interview with some false allegations made against me. I explained that I do not feel safe or comfortable with Nerang Police at all. I requested via multiple other senior police officers, with probably 55 different witnesses in that email recipient list. I requested to have another officer at another station conduct that interview, which I believe is very warranted and very reasonable. And I provided some evidence via email, just a massive file of evidence that cannot be disputed, and that was previous to all of that anyway, and then after that phone call interview originally, where she arranged to talk to me on the 30th, but in between, the 30th of last month, but in between I'd written this other email requesting her to be with somebody else, and I'd provided her with more information and evidence, which is directly and indirectly related to, I thought it was a different allegation that was being made, but it's still completely valid because it's all the context and the facts with evidence of this particular scenario. So, anyway, and also, I'll get into that in a second. Anyway, so then she proceeded she asked me if she'd come in. I said no, I don't feel comfortable, I feel fearful with them, I don't trust them at all. They are corrupt, there's no doubt that they are corrupt. They are absolutely evil people, they are seriously evil people. They turn the most simple words in the dictionary that have clear meaning, clear definition. I'll happily unpack them all, that anyone uses any day, any time, in any other scenario, but they add all of these nonsensical, with no history or backing to the tones that they add to all of this stuff. I have no history whatsoever of being that sort of a sinister person. They manipulate every single angle that they can of it, and when they're challenged with a simple question, they cannot provide an answer to anything. They literally, for them to answer a question, their whole world just dissipates. Like, it is just the most pathetically weak scenario, and they're getting allowed to do it by their senior officers and even some people in the courts. So anyway, police prosecutions know this as well, because they did it on the 16th of last month to me as well, and that had been going on for quite a long time too. So anyway, she's aware I hadn't had nearly no sleep, but she just proceeded to plough through. She was asked questions, and I clearly made statements that were proof and evidence in my statements to her that what she was thinking and what she was asserting abusefully towards me was completely illogical and false. Without a doubt, I have no history, I have no intentions of any of the things that they're claiming. They are basically telling me that no matter what my intentions are, they are going to abusively assert my intentions, and it doesn't matter what history or anything like that, because all they're interested in doing is manufacturing a criminal record against me falsely and writing reports on it, because they are aiding in child abuse. Like, this is what it's about. Alright? Now, the reason why they're doing this is because I was asking on behalf of some children. I was asking someone that was abusing me and abusing those children, and clearly is, as established through medical science by multiple healthcare professionals, right, that they are all completely aware of. These children are being abused by someone, and she is being fully supported by police and others to do so, because if they turn around now, if they don't support her anymore, it's going to prove that a long list, even though it's already proven, a long list of actions they've made against me are completely unlawful, and they're facing serious problems, at the least. So, anyway, she plows through. I asked her a couple of simple questions. She refused to answer. Then the other Jenkins, Senior Constable Jenkins, tried to interject to try and change the subject while I was asking her. That's all purposefully done. It's to try and railroad it into something else and misdirect it. And then they implied that I am incoherent, or they stated blatantly that I'm incoherent, because I was referring to a doctor's report and request that is registered with the Australian government, and I carried that request out according to legally binding restrictions that I am under, which are my duty anyway, so I would normally do that because it's in the best interest of young children. All evident, there's no disputing it, there's no other factors to it whatsoever, and they've just made up this magical, mystical fairy tale story about it. Like, that is just completely illogical. They can't answer simple questions about it, and they've conducted an interview with me at my front door at 7:30 in the morning. It ended up being stretched out to like 7:35 or something. And then just absolutely insane. I explained, and I gave this officer Tara, right? This is what I did weeks ago. I gave her a file of information that enabled her to make a decision, to carry out decisions as a police officer, to probably set herself up pretty well in a good position, possibly with their internal relations, in their internal affairs of the police, with ethical standards and so on. She could have busted multiple criminals. Some, unfortunately for her, her colleagues, some of the police at Nerang, with evidence that they are in fact criminals because they have done all types of stuff. They're threatened, harassed, extorted. They're even getting into extortion now. Aiding and abetting in criminal conspiracy against me. They are obstructing justice. They are manipulating and falsifying evidence. They are purposefully omitting evidence to magistrates, which they are verifiably aware of. There's just a massive list of crimes that these people are committing. So what Tara has done is, instead of following the law objectively with the evidence that she's got, she said that she made a minor adjustment to a record from years ago, and she ignored all the context and everything in that file, which proves that what she did this morning is completely fucking illogical. Completely. Like, there is just no way a sane person would do that. And like, literally throw away their whole life and career to, instead of being a law-abiding citizen or police officer, she could have discreetly gone and sought out assistance, but instead she asked the people that the evidence is against in her station for advice, and they instructed her to carry out the methods that she did. So this is the question, okay? This is what she sort of implied in a phone interview with me about a week ago. So I asked her about this report because she told me about this thing this morning. After I talked to her about that, she refused to give me any information. I explained a few things with that, but she wouldn't talk to me about it. She just kept on trying to get me into an interview process. I asked it to be passed off to somebody else at another station on the phone with her too. All of this is recorded, verified. And she refused. And she refused to talk to me. She refused to give me any information. I wasn't asking for an interview over the phone, okay? I was asking her if she had looked into the information that she had in her personal email in Queensland Police Service, okay? That verifiably she has. Like, she's got just a massive file. If I was a police officer, even just a security guard anymore, and someone sent me that file, I would just go, my God, someone just sent me, like, my whole career set up. Like, they've just set me up perfectly in a great career for the rest of my life. That, like, literally, if you've got people around you that abide by the law, that is, their own laws, okay, that they are sworn to protect citizens with. So, instead of all of that, she decided, nah, I'm going to fucking shoot myself in the foot, and I'm just going to go with the flow in the corrupt station that I know I've got evidence against, and I'm going to ask these fucking criminal scumbags, which is what they are. They're not police officers. They're criminal fucking scumbag, organised crime syndicates playing dress-ups with badges and uniforms. That's what they're doing. They're playing dress-ups like 4-year-old children. And some of them don't even have the mental capacity of a 4-year-old child. I can assure you of that. So, logically, Tara doesn't really have much of a cognitive function either with what she did this morning. So she's railroaded me through, and she's charged me. She's gone, right, ticket, dropped it on the mat in front of me, and the smug prick Jenkins goes, yeah, have a nice day, right? Fucking lip service to me, cunt, right? Take your fucking uniform off, you piece of shit. You don't deserve it. So, anyway, I'm not really a betting man at all. I don't gamble, and if I was to make a bet, I'm wondering, did Tara do it completely under her own accord, or was she under duress to do those things? Okay, because I think that's a fair question to ask. With the massive file of information, like undeniable evidence that she has verifiably, that I reminded her of again this morning, and she chose to say on the phone that she's not going to look at evidence, a police officer that doesn't look at evidence, right? And that she was just going to plough forward with this whole scenario and refused to an impartial person. She was clearly extremely biased at my door this morning as well. She just completely fabricated a story about simple things. Like, I'm just trying to think of the exact wording. I wrote to someone, I'm giving you a generous offer, and pleading with this person to stop, right? I have done many, many times. Any other time, any other person, no problem. They would understand it. If you are a logical, thoughtful, empathetic person, if you have any sort of kindness in you whatsoever, or you will see it is as it is, objectively, the definition of the word that you're being generous. But they have added to the word generous that it is a manipulative use and sinister intent. That I'm saying I'm being generous and I don't want to keep going through this and offering it again, okay? Because I can see this other person ending up in jail, and I don't want that. I don't want them to go through that. I don't want families to go through that sort of stuff. And I'm pleading with these people to stop, and they keep doing it. They just keep going. They're like the fucking Terminator, right? So I don't understand how they don't understand what they're doing. It is seriously warped. I can't calculate it in my head that someone can be so fucking evil and so fucking manipulative. And everything they accuse me of is exactly what they're doing as they're doing it. They don't even understand that they're projecting and they've got cognitive dissonance. Like it's just fucking insane. So, she was given the opportunity. I generously gave Tara the opportunity to do some good police work and some investigation, and she would have had to spend maybe 4 hours in police time to go through it all, maybe 5 or 6 hours tops, to just read through some documents and watch a few videos. That's all she had to do. And then just report the facts that she sees in order of what they are, the consecutive events, because we're talking about date and time stamped events that match up to their own police records. Even if I didn't have those videos and I just referred to the police internal documents, she would see that it's a fact that they've got evidence against themselves in their own files. They've got evidence of what I'm claiming in their own files, and they have literally no evidence whatsoever of anything that they claim. Nothing. They can't even answer a simple question. So, I've challenged them on this multiple times, and they still haven't done it. They still haven't answered any simple questions. They are required to answer these questions because they're saying things are happening, but they have no evidence for it. They have nothing. So how can you push a criminal charge on someone and push it through the court based on just a fictional story that has no basis to it? It has no evidence whatsoever, and ignore all the material evidence that's right there in front of you. How can you do that? Like, I don't understand how the police can allow this, the Queensland Police Service can allow this, and how the senior staff can allow it, and how the courts can allow it as well, because they're fucking entertaining it too. It's just mind-boggling, like, just doing my head in. And this is exactly what they're trying to achieve. They're trying to make out that I don't know what I'm talking about. They don't know what I'm talking about. They're the ones that don't understand what I'm talking about clearly. So they're the ones with the mental problem. When we're talking about simple, concise things, all just written, right? And they've got the evidence that shows the context of those things, but they're still saying they don't understand it. Like, so they're saying that they don't understand, for example, when a doctor says that they're creating this good type of scenario for a child, and I write it because I'm asked to write that, and that's the sort of thing I've been doing for years anyway, and they're saying I'm incoherent, they don't understand it, right? So then they need to go and see a doctor. They need to look at the files that I've sent them that has the evidence and reports of those doctors. But they refuse to, because they're too busy making up a story. So I still haven't had any more sleep. I've got a 12-hour shift. So now I'm extremely pissed off, which is what they want. They want me aggravated. They want me angry. They want me upset. They want me to appear as if I'm erratic and mentally ill, because I know that some of them, they'd love that opportunity. They'd love that opportunity for me to come charging at them angry and upset, even though I'm not a violent person at all, just angry justifiably and upset. And I know them. They would fucking shoot me. I guarantee it. Because that's the scenario that they've tried to create with me continually. They're pushing and pushing and pushing my fucking brain. Like, continually. They're falsifying charges left, right and centre. They falsify charges. As I'm going through court, they falsify information. They then fuck me around, make me lose my jobs. They made me lose 3 jobs, as I explained to you. I had no money, no one to turn to. I couldn't make it because they put me, in between cases, they put me on, and I didn't explain this properly in my last video, Nerang Corruption 1. They had me on bail, right, as they usually do with criminal charges. So they had me on bail. I didn't know that I had to report at that specific police station. I thought I just had to report at a police station. I also didn't know that police station closed at 4 p.m. I thought it was a 24-hour station. And then I got there, I was a little bit late. And then, so what I did, right, is I banged on the wall and stuff, and no one responded. And I'd seen another dude banging on the wall, and they let him in, and he fucking signed and walked out. This was like 4:15 in the afternoon that he did that guy, right? But they refused to do it for me, specifically. And then I missed the reporting. I tried to go to Southport Station to report. They said, no, you can't report here. So I'm literally at a police station trying to report for bail, and they refused to let me report. And then they charged me, breach of bail. I had sent multiple emails to Police Link. I sent emails directed to Nerang Station to say, I'm at home, I'm not going anywhere, you can call me, contact me anytime you wish, I will come in right now and sign the forms. I have absolutely no problem with that, right? But no, they refused to do that. They actually, you know what they did? I walk in, and they had this brand new recruit, right, that had obviously just come out of the academy. So she's standing at the counter, and she's next to a senior sergeant or something it was, and I explained the scenario. I've showed them the emails and everything, and the senior sergeant goes to her, okay, this is up to you, right, this newbie. This is up to you. Should you charge him or not? It's up to you. It's completely your discretion, he says to her. And it is their discretion, because they can apply the law reasonably, and if they have a good... You know, I'm not a violent fucking criminal at all, by any means. Everything they've charged me with is like not signing a piece of paper or on time, or sending a text message, like trying to check if someone's okay, and then they twist it and they turn it into something else. So what'd she do? She's like all excited and nervous because it's her first opportunity to get the bad guy, right? And then she fucking charges me, right, with breach of bail conditions. So I'm going through all of this. I've got no money. I can't get anywhere. I've lost my job again. They made me lose my job again. My computer was getting hacked, and I couldn't get Centrelink to get some money coming in to do all the stuff I needed to do. And then, because my computer was getting hacked, it linked up to my phone, and it fucked all my calendar in my phone. And then I didn't realise and I forgot because I think I got a job interview or something like that, and I went and then I realised that I hadn't gone to report because I had to report weekly on every Friday, I think it was, from memory. I think that's correct. So what do? I explain the whole thing again. They know what I'm going through because, you know why? Because they fucking intentionally put me through it. Okay? Then they fucking charge me again. And then, after they charge me for breach of bail on all these things, they drop the charges that it's based upon with no evidence because they never had any fucking evidence in the first place. And the person that created that scenario where they charged me on that withdrew all of their fucking documents as well because they were going to lose in court against me. So there was no application, there was no original fucking charges that I was on bail for, and I've got 2 criminal convictions of breach of bail for nothing. Like for a fucking fairy tale that they made up in their fucking heads. It's absolutely fucking insane. They run everything in reverse order. Like what they do, right, is if there's someone puts in an application, they then create up a trumped up charge, a criminal charge based on something in that application, no matter what it is. And then they say in the court, they sit there and they pretend they're all confused. They go, oh, I think in this case we need to hear the criminal charge before we hear the application for the criminal charge. So in complete reverse order, it's all verified that the whole application in the first place was false. That's why I got withdrawn. Then they put me through the criminal charges in court. They ignore all the evidence. They don't offer evidence. And in between, in reverse order, they criminally charge me for something else that they created. And then they drop all the charges from the original thing. So how is that lawful? How is that possibly lawful? That's like charging someone of smashing purposefully, into another person's car or killing someone, and then afterwards they go, oh, sorry, that person's not even dead. They're not even dead. You don't even know that person. We just made shit up. But oh, sorry, you're criminally convicted for two fucking charges because of that dead, non-dead person. Like, that's literally exactly the same thing. Like the logic of it, the consistency that these people have, which is criminal, because they purposefully manipulated all the evidence for it. They controlled the whole scenario. So anyway, so now I've got to go to court against them again because of what they've done. And I'm going to submit all the evidence again of the exact same things again, which I've just put in a new report as well. I put in a new complaint against 2 officers that come to my door and did it, with a long list of criminal charges that they should be charged with. I'm sure that the police can fit it into their criminal code and put the codes against those specific things I wrote. I'll gladly do it for them if they like the specific definitions and the codes under the criminal codes of Queensland, and it branches off into other criminal codes and other acts as well. So I'm quite happy to do that, and it looks like I'm going to need to. I'll need to do all the police work for the police, like usual. And like, this is, I'll tell you something, right? My crime was protecting children. The whole time, my whole crime is that I'm protecting children. And because some of these people do the things to children that I'm protecting those children from, they don't understand that they're abusive people. And then they claim that I'm the person doing the thing that they're doing, which they have no evidence of whatsoever. They just add it all in, add all the intentions and all that sort of stuff, because they go into denial and they project everything they do. They say, oh, that person's doing this. Like, stop waving your hand at me. Stop waving your hand at me. That's what they do, like literally. So, I'll give you an example, right, of how fucked up even more this is. My neighbour, the other day, right, I'm out the back building my kid's guinea pig cage and fixing it up and finishing it. and I can hear the neighbour next door, and he's recently got back together with the missus in there that's been separated from him for about a year or so, right? Because he was an abusive cunt. And he literally is. He really is an abusive cunt. So they're back together, and I can hear him calling his young children, his young boys, fucking little cunts, right? Not, how you going, cunt? Like mucking around, you know, the mates. He's like abusively calling them cunts, little fucking cunts, right? Over like throwing the ball somewhere where he didn't want them to throw the ball and stuff like that, right? And then one of them accidentally hit the other one, as kids do, like with the ball. And then he gets his kid, who's, I think is like maybe 7 years old at the most, and he smacks him in the face, right? Hard. He hits him. He assaults this young kid, his own son. And then the missus starts mouthing off at him and telling him, don't ever lay hands on the kids again, right? She's screaming at him, and he's telling her, fuck off and just go and fucking smoke a bong and shut up, you bitch, and all this stuff to her, right? So I'm like thinking, I'm going to go in there and punch the shit out of this cunt. Like, just ridiculous. But I'm thinking, I can't even send a nice text message to someone because they're charging me for that. Imagine if I go and knock some fucking abusive cockhead out. Well, imagine what I'll be up for then. They'll probably fucking shoot me. Right? So anyway, that happened. So I thought, I can't go and punch this guy in the head for abusing children and abusing women, which I'm totally opposed against. And anyone that knows me is well aware that I have spent most of my adult life being against domestic violence. I have spent many years in security protecting people against domestic violence and violence in our communities, right? All types, verifiably on film. And so I go, fuck this guy, I'm going to report him. Right, so I reported him to Child Services and Queensland Police Service, and I wrote exactly what happened, word for word, and exactly how it went down. I was 100% accurate with exactly what went down, and I thought the police should go there and do that, right? Do something about it. So I go out and I see him leaving, and then he goes. I was about to go out, and he goes, and then he comes back, and then I left, and I did something with my kids, and I come back because my kids could hear him doing all of that stuff as well, and I didn't really want my kids around hearing that sort of stuff because it's pretty scary to young females in particular to hear a guy abusing his own children. And my kids like, yeah, I don't want them around that sort of scenario at all. And then I come back with my kids after going shopping, I think it was, and he comes to the bathroom window and he slides the window open and he tries to stare me down, and he's like, fucking something at me, right? Like I can hear him mouthing off in the bathroom, like probably 10 metres away from me, not even 10 metres away from me, and his missus is going, shut up, to him, right? So I looked at him, and I'm thinking, what does this cockhead think? Like, seriously, a guy that bashes little children and abuses a woman who's like a lot smaller than him, and he thinks that he can have a go at me. Like, he honestly thinks that he could take me, right? Someone totally opposed, staunchly opposed to those types of things, and he thinks that he could actually take me when he's picking on little kids and women. It's fucking pathetic piece of shit. And he's still obviously in there. He's toned his ass down a lot. I can hear him talking to his missus and his kid in there now, and he's like very quiet and very toned down, I assure you of that now. Particularly when he can see me through the fence out in the backyard. And like, But nothing, obviously. He obviously didn't get arrested or anything like that. I haven't seen any police rock up anymore. I haven't seen any child services rock up or anything. And then police are banging on my window at 7 fucking o'clock this morning because I sent a generous and polite text message to somebody that they made up a fictional fairy tale fucking story for, and they charged me. They criminally charged me for it. Unbelievable. So, once again, Nerang Police, fuck you corrupt fucking scumbags.